it's Cam.
Hey, y'all, it's Desinae.
Hey, it's Jada.
Hey, it's Jay, and you're listening to 4 Deep, a podcast with 4 Black women in their 20-somethings who aren't afraid to get deep with it.
And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us 5 stars. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on y'all post notifications.
Oh, that's me, huh?
Oh, how the tables have turned.
The tables have turned. Wow. Oh my God. So never thought it would be me ever. All right, y'all. So as always, we want to know what y'all think our deep rating was from 1 to 4 deep. So after you tune into this episode and every other episode, because y'all have missed a couple episodes and letting us know what you thought our deep rating was.
Hello.
I let y'all off of a press last weekend, but not this weekend. I have time. So tap in. We have a Spotify poll. We have comments. We have DMs. We have Twitter. We have the Clock app. Let us know something.
Yeah.
And today, okay, we're talking about some good stuff here, okay?
Yes.
We are diving even deeper into this topic. We did something similar season 1. Oh, but season 2, we're back, we're better, okay? And we're about to get deeper. So, as you see by the title, we're talking about making new friendships, okay? And feeling alone. So, woo! This one, I'm already geared up. I'm ready. This one, like, is so aligned with everything that's low-key just happened in the last week. So I'm really excited to come on this one. It's like fresh off the press. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh.
I love when the topics are relevant. I really do.
Yeah.
When they hit.
Okay, so we are going to start off with a quote. And then we're just going to go around and basically say what we feel like this means to us. So the quote is, our weaknesses are amplified when we're alone. Okay, I guess I'll start because, it spoke immediately. And I feel like this also ties to what we talked about in episode 2 when we were talking about mindset. And there will always be, when you're by yourself and you're sitting with your thoughts, it's going to be hard for you to, like, you'll have those negative thoughts and it will be hard not to listen to them when you're all by yourself. Because there will be times where you won't be able to combat those thoughts on your own, or there will be times where the positive thoughts won't get through and in front of those negative thoughts. And so now you're just sitting there spiraling in your negative thoughts when you really need to be around people who love you and care for you and who are feeding you that positivity that you can't currently give to yourself.
Ooh.
So, when you're alone, it's definitely easier to sink deeper down into a really bad space. So get around those people who love you when you feeling down.
And that's real, because actually that my friends be getting on me for that. And so that's another thing, friends recognizing your weaknesses. You can't nobody recognize your weaknesses and be there for support when you're alone. I always have a period during wintertime where I'm just like checked out. I think like everybody has it. I don't want to call it seasonal depression because I don't really know what it is, but it's just like, I don't know. I just go into this very like I hibernate. I don't know. I kind of like go into my own little hole. And so I have friends like ever since college, which is around the time that it started, they will always check in like, okay, we know it's that time of year. Like, where have you been? Or I haven't heard from you. Or like they'll make it a point to let me know that they know what's going on, and they'll like do that extra effort to be there. And it's like still to this day. So it's like, not y'all going 6 winters deep. I mean, well, it's been more than that now, but still, like, obviously, my rotation, I mean, my system there, my cycles don't change. But shout out to y'all for being there, because I mean, it gets real lonely, and sometimes when you want to be alone, that's when you really don't need to be. So,
Yes, 100%. And just knowing that, like, we all have weaknesses and that God really did not mean for us to do life alone at all. He looked at man and said, nope, not good. Not good for man to be alone. and made one man. Okay. He said, let me do a little bit better. Let me do a little bit better than what I did the first time. But we're not meant to do this life alone. And that does not necessarily mean like relationships, romantically. For all the single ladies, get into friendships. And that's exactly what it's about, because regardless, it's a support system. It's the thing that's going to see you when you don't have those glasses on of truth, and they're going to be there to remind you of the truth. And I really think that that's what it is, because yes, like when we're alone, we tend to fall into the pattern of thinking that we're the only ones that are experiencing this right now. We're the only ones that's thinking this and feeling this, and we're just so alone and so isolated. Nobody understands. 9 times out of 10, you're reliving a similar story just over and over again, just different person, and so you can always reach out to other people. And so the quote, our weaknesses are amplified when we're alone, it just really proves why we need friends and why we need community in general.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this goes into that saying when it's like, or that joke that people kind of be like, oh, when I leave hanging out with my friends or family, I feel like life is worth living again. And that's not for no reason. Like, that's the reason we have those communities there and those people there to remind us, like all those negative thoughts and those things that get us down on our day-to-day, like that's not the core. That's not our everything. That's not what our world is. There's so much more to it. And being around friends and family and realizing like that, how that reminds us that things are okay. Life is good. There are people out here that care about me. That feeling is not here for no reason. So shout out to all the family members, the friends, the people, that we can lean on and hang out with and enjoy and be our fullest selves with, when we're not feeling our best, or even when we just really needed that time. Because I know sometimes, it's like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything. But after you finish going, I'd be like, okay, I had a good time. Like, I really enjoyed that. I'm so happy I stepped out. So that's what also motivates me lately now. Because sometimes I really just be wanting to like the days where I have the opportunity to not do anything, I'm like, okay, let me soak in that. But then if like something small comes up where it's like, oh, like, let's grab dinner. Like I mentioned, like my aunt came out here and she was like, hey, let's grab some lunch. And I was like, okay, do I want to lay in bed all day? I'm like, girl, get up and go grab some food. And it was a great time for us. So yeah, lean into, your community and stuff, because that's what they're here for. And yeah, but it's hard, like going from now we have this is what we want to talk about is, transitioning into adulthood. We're not, as we get older, we get removed from those spaces where it's easy. It's just easier to make friends. Like, for example, when you're in school, like you got people around you all the time, same age, similar interests, those people are around you all the time. It's easier to make friends. But when you're removed from those spaces where so many opportunities and events and just things are thrown in your face, it makes it so much harder. And I think we can all, kind of relate to this, just going from undergrad to the next step was a big change, especially when it comes to like friendships, whether that be because we don't live on campus or in the same area anymore, because we start viewing things differently, or because of how busy we are now. It's hard, it's different, it's definitely adjustment. So I want to know, like, for y'all, like, how did y'all, I know, because I think I can speak for us all when we definitely say it was some kind of shift there after undergrad when it came to friendships and maintaining those relationships. So we could talk about how did we manage that or get through that, whatever, because I know we're still kind of experiencing that still. So yeah, how was that for y'all?
So for me, because definitely I was very close with the people that I lived with. But even before, I definitely had like friends from like high school and middle school, like that I like still talk to this day. And but like being removed from those environments where we do get to see each other every day, it definitely does get hard. And it's more so just trying to get them to understand that we may not speak as much, we may not hang out as much, but like the love is always there. And so a perfect example of that is my friend, I'm Unique. That's actually whose birthday I'm going to this weekend coming up. And like we do not talk every week. We don't talk. We probably won't even talk every month. But every time we see each other, it's all love, no love lost. We catching up like we was just together yesterday. Like it's all good. And I do have other friends where it's like, we definitely have to have those friend dates. Like we have to be connected. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to schedule those types of things. So it's just more so the individual relationship I have with that person is like basically it's like that's how we figure it out individually. Like so I got friends who are like cool with like, you know, yeah, like when we see each other and it's all love. And then we got the friends who, you know, check in every so and so months or check in every so and so weeks. And it's like the friends where it's like, no, bitch, we finna go out, we finna go to lunch. We need a friend date, you know what I'm saying? And then I got, you know, like one or two friends were like, okay, we talk on the phone like every day. So it's really like a case by case basis, but you got to figure out what works for you and that other individual to make sure that you just keep the love between you guys, because that's really what it's about.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would also say for me, I was not really let me have all these friends. That just never was me. But I realized that I wanted to be more of a social person. And I actually have been. I'm so excited about it because especially post grad is one thing. Yes, because now we're not in like a system where we're kind of just like seeing each other all the time. We just so happen to be friends. Now we have to actually go out our way. And I think since working at this coffee shop, I'm making conversation with people. And it's getting a lot easier to do that, to like network and like make these connections and really just like, I don't know, just get in there and just say, hey, let's do something. And the easiest thing for me, like before I got saved, it was like, oh, the way that I was able to connect was, oh, like, let's go, let's smoke and let's go chill. And that was like my way to like, I guess, help me with my social life. But now it's eating. And you know what?
Yeah.
That is actually biblical. It's actually biblical.
Oh, really?
It's in the Bible somewhere. Hold on, let me break out my handy dandy sermon notebook, because we actually had a sermon this past Sunday on loneliness. So I'm telling y'all, everything is just aligned.
Like, come on.
So perfect.
Come on.
And it was basically saying that like one of the things is that God actually wants us to eat together. It's Acts 2:47 through 46 through 47. I don't know exactly what it is, but we will get it.
I can look it up
for you. Yes, we will look it up. But basically I love to now like go out to eat and just like talk to people. And it's one thing that I really, really do enjoy is really just like putting myself out there, and not also limiting or like putting people in a box. So even if like they may like look a certain way or whatever, like I never ever try to underestimate the value that they could bring to my life. Until like I actually go out and I see it. Now, if it's somebody and I went out with them, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I could have probably saved that day. It's fine. I still went and I put myself out there and I felt good about it. And I was also talking to my mom about it today too, which is interesting because she's not the type of person to have friends either. And that's one thing that I feel like I got it from her. And so I was telling her, because she's ended up moving to East Coast, y'all. So I'm excited about that.
Really?
Yeah, she's moving out here. So I'm just really
Gosh.
excited to start spending more time with my mom, because I think we both need that.
I'm
But
so
I was telling her,
excited.
my mama. No, well, yes. Either North Carolina or Virginia. And like she's gonna be like coming together.
right there. She's
Yeah.
not far from North Carolina.
Not at all. Right there on the line.
Okay,
so I'm
Brother
like,
Bear
okay,
needs to make his way
cool.
on over.
Oh no, he's coming first. Yeah. Moving everybody to the East Coast. I said, y'all need to come on here. So I'm really excited about that. But I told her, I was like, Mom, you need to make some friends. You need to make some friends of your own, because this is really going to help with your mental health. This is really going to help with you not feeling alone. Feeling alone is one of the most like common feelings that really like you said, like gets us to spiral, especially if you have depression or you battle with mental health issues. Like being alone is like, even though your mental health issues or whatever you're struggling with will kind of like whisper in your ear and say like, be alone, like just go to sleep, just close your door, isolate yourself. Isolation is the number one thing you want to avoid when you're in a time like that. You want to surround yourself with community, and don't be mad at the people who's actually trying to force surround you because they're trying to save you. They're trying to be your life raft. They're trying to help you and hold you up so that you do not sink. And so that's what I'm telling her. Like, you need to go get you some friends. Like, you don't have any now, but you need to go get you some friends. Like, I'm so serious. And I'm like, put yourself out there. She wants to get like a little stay-at-home job. I'm like, no. Go in the office, meet some people, like get out there. Like, and she's like, it's so hard because, you know, like I'm in my 40s. It's different. And I'm like, Mom, no. I'm like, don't.
And she's not the only one in that situation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I told her, I said, Mom, you're not the only one that is looking for friends at this age. I said, trust me, you're not. You're not. And she was like, you're right. And I said, exactly. You're sitting there trying to isolate yourself. Is the number one lie the enemy likes to tell us. This is the only thing that only you're experiencing this.
Yeah.
You're all alone in this experience. No, you're not. No, you're not. And I'm like, just become who you want to be, literally, and just like start doing those habits, doing those things, and you're going to attract different people. I'm attracting faith-based friends outside of the church setting. Like, I don't know how I just found you, but you love God and you're like trying to do like all the things that I'm trying to do, and you're gonna like help me on my walk too. Wow, like what? Like, obviously, yes, thank you, God, but I'm also I'm attracting those things because I am those things. Like, I'm putting those things out and I'm getting those things back. So that's a huge part of making friends in adulthood. It's just honestly being open to it, being open to conversation, being open to like just, you know, really putting yourself out there. I know it might be a little scary, it might be hard at first, but do it.
Yeah, the putting yourself out there thing, that was a challenge for me, because talking about like leaving that school environment after graduating, it was like, oh, like I'm not about to see like my best friends. I've seen y'all every day, like 3-4 years. Like this is sick. You know, how are we supposed to do this? But I think the biggest thing for me was first like acceptance of it. I think like I spent a long time kind of like in the shock of it all. Like, what do I do? How do I do this? It's like, girl, just do it. Like, it's your friends. Call them, text them, and they're both only a short drive away. Until one of them moved to Houston, and that was a whole other thing. But still, we be making it work. We plan our trips. We link when we can, and so it's like, that's what really makes it feel like adulting. It's like, wow, okay, now we're literally like aligning our schedules and like, you know, it's kind of crazy. But I lost my train of thought because there was something that you said, Jada, and I was like, oh, what was it? Oh, so one of the things, and we were kind of talking about it too on when I was on Kyler's podcast. By the way, I was on Banquet Hall podcast.
Brother.
It's out now. By the time y'all hear this, it's out now, but by the time y'all hear this, you'll know for sure that it's out. So go listen to it. But we were actually just talking about how we miss the Black Resource Center at UCSD because it was, first of all, unless you was there to experience what that was, we just cannot explain the importance of like how that just was like foundational. I still to this day wish I had a Black Resource Center at Howard University in the middle of all these Negroes. I still wish I had a Black Resource Center. And that's, again, I talk about that go listen to the other episode because I'm not going to talk about it right now. But what we did talk about was how the BRC also functions as a third place. And the third place is basically, it's not your work or your school or your home environment. Like if you think of the two places that you frequent most in your life, the third place is meant to be a social environment outside, removed from those things that are allowing you to make those friends. And we're losing third places just in the world as it is, as we're kind of becoming more tech and individually centered. We're losing those places. And even if you do go to a place like a coffee shop, because Kyler dropped a little fact and he was saying like Starbucks literally branded themselves, and that's why they blew up, as being like the third place. So like coffee shops and like libraries and just different things like that, we're losing them. And even when you go to them, people are like, you know, on their phones, like nobody's really interacting. So I think another thing about just kind of like stepping, if you're really feeling like you just need to like make some new friends, or maybe you in a space in your life right now where you're like, I just feel like I'm not getting what I need from my friendships, or it's time to freshen some things up, or challenge yourself to put yourself out there, kind of like how Jada is doing. Look for events in your area. There's like I seen on TikTok, there's like a group of Black girls in their 20s, and I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's like, hey, new friends or something like that. Like they're literally, their organization is called that, and they do random meetups. And I just feel like if you live near or in an adjacent, like to a major city, you can find these organizations or these clubs or these link ups or whatever. If you're on TikTok, if you're on socials, to like kind of put yourself out there. If you have a hobby, look for people in your area that are doing the hobby, or like age-based stuff. There was at an event I went to a couple weeks ago out here, and it was a double Dutch club, and I was like, oh, I want to join, and they were like, oh, sorry, it's 40 up. I said,
oh, excuse me, my bad.
well, I love that for y'all, but
right.
I'm like, I'm almost there. Like, dang.
No, you are not.
The door.
But no, like I think that's also a beautiful thing about it too, because even though we're losing traditional third places in a sense, we're also kind of gaining people who are like, I'm seeing a need and I'm gonna just put myself out there and kind of bring us all together and form something. So if you have a commonality or a hobby or something you like to do, there are book clubs. I seen an ad on Instagram for a book club. I think it was out here, but I just wasn't on that type of time at the time. But like there's just so many things you could do. I found outdoor skate lessons, and like there's still things that you can find and do in your area that will allow you to get out there and interact with some people and make some new friends. If your work friends ain't good enough to be your personal friends, and if your school friends ain't good enough to be your personal friends, or whatever your regular circles are, definitely put yourself out there and try and go find some new circles to run in. That would be my advice.
Yeah. And you said something very important too, which was like positioning yourself. Like you notice you might not have friends yet. So like, obviously, yes, you have to like get over the fact that you're going to these places alone initially. But that just means like go out and make friends. It's also very true. Like even if like somebody's trying to come up to you to date you, you know, or like get your number, whatever, they're more likely to do it if you're alone rather than if you're in a group. So if you go and you're alone, and I know it might be scary to like enter into, you know, like a friend group that's already popping, but like there's other people going there alone trying to do the same thing or just trying to discover themselves. And so run into somebody else that's discovering themselves, and then like discover yourselves together. And then and you know, just talk, open your mouth. Just like, hey, my name is this. There's so many times I've been to events and then people just come up to me because they see me standing alone, and they're just like, hey, my name is this. And I'm like, hi, I'm Jada. And this Caribbean fest I went to over the past weekend, I went with this girl that I met on Instagram. Like we was just like DMing back and forth on Instagram about like stuff that we seen each other posting. And then we were like, hey, you want to go out? We were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you know, like, I don't know. It's not as scary as it seems, I promise.
Yeah, that's facts. Like sometimes you really gotta jump in there. And it's we're just hearing us talk about, people always talking about, oh, how to get started with dating, how to da-da-da-da. But how to get started with making new friends, because we're still young. It's not like, of course we have like, you know, our close friends and, you know, some people that we grew up with, but we're still in the age where there's a possibility for us to meet people that, you know, will become people who will be a part of the rest of our lives. And so that's what really blows me, because it's like it's such an important thing, but nobody really talks about like how to go out and make friends and do that. And I never heard of like the concept of a third place. I never really thought about that. But then when you brought that up, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Especially, you know, right now, one of those places, you know, are removed, or for me, home and work are very similar because I work from home. And so a lot of times, like, yeah, that's cool and all, but as far as like hanging out, it's much rare because there's not a lot of social events going on. You don't just run into somebody, you know, in the area. Usually you're doing that in the office. And so finding that other place is really important. And I think that's why I also value like my friends when we do decide to meet up, or like one of my closest friends, Timbri, she, you know, her house is like our third place. Like, so we'll have maybe a game night at her house, or maybe we'll all meet up at her place and then we'll do something later or something of that sort. But just having, you know, that place or that space is really important. It makes me think of just like different events, like open mics that go on, and, you know, people who go to them regularly. That's how you know, meet people in that space and cultivate those relationships, because y'all are always going. So it's like, okay, bet, like I know you're gonna be here. We could talk, we could catch up. and things of that sort. And it's really important, like, and I think just thinking about it is kind of like, do what, go where, try to make what, but it's different now. Like, we're college, we're not in that anymore as far as undergrad, and when you're an undergrad, they really be pushing the events on you. So it's really hard to not meet people. You got to avoid meeting people when you're an undergrad. And so, I really appreciate, just sharing that concept, because it helps make things make more sense as far as like, where can I go to, get into these little things. And there are a lot of things out there that do cater like towards your different identities, what you like to do. And so I think I need to get into that, see what's going on in the area or whatever. Just even if it's going to like an event, a cute event that's going on. Eventbrite is that girl. She will really help you find something going on in the area. You see the ticket price right there, and sometimes things be free. So that would be cool. And it's usually fun. Like, so you can just walk around and meet random people. I know Eventbrite has definitely helped me just finding out what's going on in the area. Like, I like the idea of open mics too. And I think it is like, it's hard to, when, like Cam, you mentioned, when you're going to Starbucks or libraries or things of that sort, there's not really that welcoming energy anymore because everybody's so in their phone. So I came here for this and this only. I didn't come here to socialize. And so those places have kind of turned into something different. So it's kind of a struggle navigating, okay, this used to be the third place vibe, but now it's not. So where do I go from here? How do I navigate that? And I think it's kind of figure out that in between, because previous generations, that's what they had. That was their thing. And so now what used to be that is not that anymore. So now we got to figure out, okay, what would our third place be? Or what do our third places look like? So yeah, definitely got to put yourself out there. But I like it. I love meeting new people, and I love when I go to new events and I just feel like, wow, like I really had a time. I really enjoyed myself. And sometimes it's like, okay, they were really cool. Let me grab that Instagram. And that's just really how you just keep going. And so you can't be afraid to do stuff. You're not going to come off as thirsty. Nobody's going to be looking at you weird. It's not going to be none of that. Like, you're literally going out, you had a good conversation. It's a compliment. Like, hey, you got social media? Like, let's keep in touch. You real cool. It's not gonna come off as weird or anything. I promise. We're just out here, just trying to meet cool people, do fun stuff. And so if you come across somebody or some people that you enjoy being around, don't take advantage of that, because there are a lot of people out here who are weird and who are very anti and just rude and things of that sort. So when you come across like some good people, take advantage of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely like a couple of stigmas that I feel like if you want to make new friends, or if you're lonely and you're not really hanging around people like that, there are some stigmas that you really have to drop if you're going to really be able to put yourself out there. So if you stuck to that no new friends mindset, get rid of that. If you have that stigma to where it's like, oh, I just hate going and doing things by myself, please get rid of that, because how are you even going to find anybody to do anything with?
Yeah.
You're gonna go out by yourself and find somebody to do something with. If you know you want to go to the gym and you say, I'm not going to the gym because I don't want to go by myself. Well, go to the gym and find you a gym partner. Find somebody else who's out there working out by themselves and say, hey, yeah, what's up? If you know you go, if you like to dance, go to a dance class. I went to a dance class. Do you know how many people talk to me just to talk to me? And I'm thinking, like, are you a regular? Because girl, I'll see you up here every Wednesday. Like, just if you know you like to paint, go to a sip and paint. Like, there's just so many things that you could do, and you really got to get out of that. I don't want to go do nothing by myself. I don't want to go do nothing by myself. So then you sit in the house and you don't do nothing at all, waiting for one of your old friends or somebody that you're used to being with, like waiting for that.
Live your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do it by yourself, and then that's how you'll meet new people. You're not gonna meet new people by clicking to old people and only moving when they move. You gotta go
like that.
The other day is preaching today.
Yeah, by yourself. That's so true. That's the way. That's the way.
Because one thing about me, I notice about myself, I will always say, well, I'm not the person who really makes plans, if you make plans, I'm down. But then I will find myself in situations where it's like, dang, like, I wish, I was hanging out with my friends and more like, okay, girl, then find something to do with your friends. Like, you're sitting around waiting for somebody to say something or to come up with plans. Figure it out. Go out to eat, girl. It ain't gotta be nothing extravagant.
A little happy hour.
Right.
Girl, it ain't
And a
nothing to
happy
go
hour
to
is
BJ's.
a happy hour is a
time.
good start in general.
Okay.
Get you a little liquid
can
courage if you're a little scared.
Yes.
Go meet some new friends or
exactly.
go with the friends you have. Shoot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and honestly, if
Exactly.
you going to these like social events, I have a couple tips, just two.
Okay.
Number one is to set a goal. And like make it fun. Like kind of make a game out of it. Like, you know, like, oh, I want to go and get like this many Instagrams or whatever. Like I want to go and I want to meet this many people. I want to introduce myself to this many. Like put an actual quantitative goal to it and go execute. And then I promise you're not going to regret it. You're not. And then if you're ever nervous about like, how do I start the conversation? Like, how does this even come about? Compliments. Everybody loves compliments. Everybody loves compliments. And you don't know, you might make that person's day. You don't know what kind of day that they're having. Literally, it could be as small as, oh my gosh, like your hair looks so nice. Like, who does your hair? Like, or excuse me, I'm just wondering, like, where did you get that top? Like, that is so cute. And then like conversation will just naturally flow. So like honestly, start off with a compliment because that'll warm somebody up so much to you. And they will like start opening themselves up like quicker than ever. So I definitely say do that. And another thing too, I wanted to talk about was really just the importance of having friends in adulthood too. I know we kind of was talking about it earlier, but I did have a question for the girlies. Because my church, they were saying that there was, he was spitting, y'all, spitting. He said there are some demons only community can fight. And I know that we were kind of like talking about that. And I just want to know, like, what's one thing that like your girls or your community has really like helped you with, and something that you don't think that you could have tackled on your own?
Whoa. I'm gonna run out the room and run back. Oh my gosh.
I have one. I feel like, and it's crazy because it's like y'all helped me with this. Y'all know I was recently struggling before I had this job. I was struggling with not having income coming in. I was down bad. I was like depressed. I just felt worthless. I just felt like, I felt really, really bad. And I would like, come and talk to y'all about it. And y'all would just tell me basically to like not look at, like basically I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be. And my next step to make myself feel more secure wasn't going to be where I wanted to be. And it was just like to not look at myself as like a failure, or to remember that like you're still going. Like the goal is not over until you stop working towards it. So like you're still working towards it. It's not a failure. And then even still too, just like reminded me that like the world ain't gonna end just because the money's short. Like you still alive. And really just like still getting good energy, even when I was like feeling those bad feelings about myself, like feeling like, dang, like if I don't got no money, I'm not working, like I'm not really worth nothing to nobody, I'm not worth nothing. My whole self-worth was all messed up. And it's like, but you got these people who still talk to you and still show you love, and they don't care how much money is in your wallet.
Didn't even know.
Right.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. And it's like, and you do need, like, that's what's like, you will need that love to like realize that certain stuff is just really not that important. That community and love and family and friends, that really is what's important. And like anything outside of that is just like extra shit. Like you really do need like love and support to like get through anything that's beating you up. To be honest, I don't think there's anything that like I've ever been through that was like a real trial. I don't think I've gone through anything like absolutely by myself, where people didn't make me feel understood, or empathize with me, sympathize with me, show me some love, be there to support me, or whatever the case. I don't think there's ever been a time.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like really, community is key. Just thinking about like different situations I was like as you pose this question, thinking about different situations where I just chose to like be alone and not talk to anybody about it and just, just go through it. It's kind of like, girl, like this could have just been so much better. Because now recently I've seen the effects of pouring into my friends more and my community in general, friends, family, all that, about just talking about life, what I'm going through or what I'm experiencing. And it's helped so much. But as far as like examples, literally like when we recorded the first episode of 4 Deep, like I was just getting into the nitty gritty feels of not being with my ex anymore. Like, I mean, we're recording the first episode and we talking about, oh, how was your week? Like, what's been going on? Rosebud Thorn. I'm like, yeah, Rosebud Thorn. It was, starting 4D. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get too into it on pod, but definitely off pod with y'all and my friends and family in general, like just supporting me and being there for me and keeping it real with me. Cause I know I'm not perfect and I know there's places where I mess up and I've noticed it's hard for me to see all of my mistakes that I make just from my perspective. And so I really appreciate my friends and my people who are there for me, who will tell me, okay, maybe let's not go there, or maybe it's not that, maybe it's a different situation, but also getting validation from, the situations that I'm in. And like, just because going through it alone would make me go through so many things like, oh my gosh, did I do this wrong? Did I do this right? How did I say this? How did this come across? And, it's one thing to have a conversation one-on-one with somebody and, go through that and get their opinion like, oh no, it was fine, but no, like really, how does this look? And so having y'all to just uplift me, and friends, when I say friends, I'm talking about quad pod too, because gang, and just having friends there to talk about things, because I was very just like private, especially when it came to relationships. I didn't tell nobody nothing, because in my house, like, it's just between us. I don't care what nobody else got to say. We can handle it. But no, babe, definitely have a balance. We don't need to do too much. But yeah, leaning into y'all, and just having that support through such a tough time and difficult time was very much needed. And I definitely don't know, like, I wouldn't have got through it I'm not going to say easy, because it wasn't easy, but I would not be here where I am in my journey with that if it wasn't for y'all. So I really appreciate that. And I'm just glad I've been able to see like how important and how beneficial it can be when leaning in to my support system. Like, I know y'all are there and I know y'all are here for me, and knowing that is cool, but actually doing it and seeing it, it's like, wow, like, especially like being older, we start talking about different stuff than when we talked about when we were like middle school, high school. Because I have some friends, like my best friends, I've known them since middle school, and even coming to them with that situation and just like hearing the advice they give me and like just being like, nah, like, you were valid with that, or this situation makes sense, blah blah blah. And it's just like, wow, y'all are really here for me, giving me that advice and just supporting me. And it wasn't easy, but it was just made it so much easier having that friendship and community and just love and support and reassurance. So yeah, I really appreciated that. And that just is a testament that, whatever happens, whatever I'm going through, I know that leaning on my friends and my family, my support system in general, will help me get through it, instead of keeping it to myself and trying to thug it out by myself. Like, that's not gonna work.
That scripture, iron sharpens iron, stuff like that. Y'all, I need to get on the scripture thing. But the sermon was saying something about that too. Like, in order for you to sharpen iron, there has to be fire, there has to be heat, there has to be tension. So when it comes with friendships, don't expect it all to be roses if they're supposed to be telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's the important part of a true friend, is that when iron sharpens iron, there's going to be tension. You're going to be put under the fire sometimes, because you're going to be held accountable. You're going to, you're going to have that reflection even stronger, because it's a person that knows you, even when you be trying to fake in front to yourself, like something ain't
Hello.
wrong. They gonna tell you, no, baby, something's wrong. And I'm gonna pull up to your
Facts.
front door and we're gonna handle this. And so, you know, I just really think that that's such an important thing. And my biggest weakness when, or, you know, mentally when it comes down to certain things is men and kind of like my relationship with them. I've talked about this all throughout season 1, on and off pod. And my friends, man, I don't know where I would be. I really don't, because it's like, no, yeah, that joker's a joker, and you need to turn around and go the other way, or like maybe you shouldn't be giving him like the umpteenth chance. Maybe you shouldn't. Just things like that. When you know, when I'm like, am I delusional? You're like, no, you're not. So like Jay was saying, you know, that validation and also that accountability, I like having all of that wrapped into one, and also friends that'll just like let you vent and be like, okay, girl, so look, here's the real deal and here's the other deals. And I also have friends that are older. I love having older friends as well.
Yeah.
Because they've been around the block. Okay. They done seen this story about a couple times. So they're able to tell me what's what. And, you know, I love when my friends especially tell me like, okay, you want me to tell you the real deal, Holyfield, or you want me to like just pat your back right now? And I love, you know, ask me what I need, because sometimes you're not ready for that. Sometimes
Yeah, like, baby, I don't need
hey,
to
baby,
right now.
Conversation A, let me vent. Conversation B tomorrow, then we can get into that. Like, you know, so like it's really nice. So friends, they do what they need to do. They help me see me.
Hey, yeah.
I would say one of the things that my friends have helped me work through is people pleasing. And I don't say that in like a light way. Like, I realized somewhere around 24 that I didn't know. Actually, what happened was I ended a relationship, and that's when I realized like what do I actually like, and who am I? And like I felt like I was confused because of the depths that I committed to people pleasing. But it was always something that I did in relationships, and particularly in friendships. In fact, one of my longest friendships, that was one of my earliest friendships, was the friendship in which I learned to people please because I was so terrified of losing that friendship. And so my friends, particularly Denasia, she will call me on it every time. So are you saying this for you, or are you saying this because you think this is what the other person wants? And it was like the constant like calling it out was like, okay, no. So I need to sit back and figure out what it is that I need and what I'm making decisions on and what I need to be doing. And it kind of just started this whole thing of where I started realizing how almost every decision I was making in my life, inside and outside of relationships, was affected by my perceptions of what people's perceptions are of me. And it's like, do I even really know who I am if I'm living inside of someone else's head trying to see myself from the outside all the time? Like, that's exhausting. And so my friends were always the ones to kind of like remind me, to check me, and to support me, because there will be times where things do come up in friendships and I'm like, okay, this makes me really nervous to bring this up, or this really makes me nervous to say this because I know you need to hear it, but you're not going to like it. Or like, I would always be so nervous, like, what if they don't want to be friends anymore? What if and it would always try and creep back up. But my friends were always, I don't even think they realized that they were doing it, creating an environment where it was supportive for me to be able to say, no, I could do this. I can say what I have to say, and it is going to be fine. And so it's still a work in progress. But to this day, when I tell people like, yeah, I struggle, or I try to say used to struggle with people pleasing, they're like, I can't tell. And that's the biggest compliment. That's the biggest compliment to me, because it took 27 years to get here. But yeah, like I said, I don't even think my friends realized how instrumental they were in help undoing that, because it all started with a friend. So I was like, man, y'all don't even realize. Like, y'all don't even realize.
Wow.
That's
like,
no,
honestly.
Yes.
And you see just the range like of the things that our support systems have helped us with, the range of situations that we were going through. Like, it's not just one-sided, you know, our support systems have helped us get through some real stuff. No matter what we was going through, they was there and they helped us get through it. And so I value in them friendships. And hey, there's still a chance for you to make them friends that will still support you.
Yes.
today.
Mhm.
Now it's not too late.
Yeah.
No, it's never too late. Like, there's still people out there, and so you got to get out there and meet those people, and stop being so to yourself so much. If you really want to get out there, like, you got to put yourself out there,
and you got to be the friend that you want as a friend. Please do that. And you will attract the friends that you're looking for. I promise. I promise. I literally just met some friends that I don't care how long we've been friends. Girl, you say you need something, I'm pulling up. Like, and it's just because, like, you really just got to pour into them just as much as, they're pouring into you. It's just like any other romantic relationship. Like, it's a two-way street there.
Yes, tap into season 1, because we got a whole episode on how to be a good friend and pour into those friendships just as much as you do those relationships.
Definitely.
Hello.
And friends, like, they're there to, when you're sinking, give you that hand to pull you up. If your glasses are a little foggy, they're there to wipe them off and help you see clearly. So yeah, definitely. And look, us here, all of us was not this close before we got into a third space, a book club, and
a virtual third space.
A virtual third space. Exactly. And honestly, if you don't have one, you don't see one, create one. Create one.
That's so true. And look what came from it.
That is
I love that.
Now we got to actually look at our third space.
Look at that.
Our little pictures.
It's a literal.
With our little pictures and our orange lamp. And our
Oh my gosh, right, huh?
That is literally what this is. Every single episode, every single potty mouth. That's exactly what this
testimony?
is. Yes, you hear us every single time. We're always like, wow.
I just thought of a title.
What?
Welcome to the third space.
Yes.
Mic drop. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
This is medicine. That. Community is your medicine. Take a dose. Go get. This is your prescription. Okay. We have a doctor here. This is a prescription. We have a doctor. I've been trying to figure that out. There we go. Prescription. Go get you some community. That is going to be your number one thing. Like, honestly. Because every time we could feel like shit coming into these conversations, we're like, I do not feel like meeting today. As soon as we leave, like, energized, so it really is healing to the soul. God made it that way for a reason.
Oh yeah. And please let us know, like, what is your third space? Like, give us some inspiration. Let us know what you pour into, and even if you don't have a third space, where would you like your third space to be? What are you interested in? Like, let us know, because this is all new to me, so I'm really interested in just this concept. I want to see what y'all are doing and where y'all going. What y'all up to? Yeah.
Oh,
this is great.
This is my favorite episode yet.
Better
and better.
This is so cute.
Oh my God.
This is great.
Okay, so 40.
I think
4D for sure.
It's giving a 40.
Yeah, there was definitely some moments where I got emotional. I was like, not today.
Yes, it's definitely giving a 40. Yes.
Yeah.
So don't forget to let us know how deep y'all think we got. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're everywhere.
Yes. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, because we all need it. Community.
Yes.
All right.
And we see y'all in the next episode.
Bye.